Cyntoia Brown. She's been in prison for more than a decade now, but her case is catching fire on social media. Hashtag Free Cyntoia Brown after being shared on Instagram by pop superstar Rihanna. And here's the background. Brown says when she was just 16, after being forced into prostitution, a 43-year-old man took her home and tried to have sex with her. Brown says in self-defense, she shot him because she feared for her life. And despite her age, she was tried as an adult, sentenced to life in prison, and won't be eligible for parole until she's 69 years old. Well, one of the people trying to change that is with us now, her attorney, Charles Bone. Charles, thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to ask you, how is she doing, and is she aware of this new public campaign to try to help her?
Cyntoia is a remarkable young woman, and she's very aware. She's amazed by the publicity that's been generated this week.
Help us understand who she is now. I understand, I mean, she's been in prison for what, has it been about 13 years, and she's gotten a college degree, is that right?
13 years, and she's gotten her GED and her Associate of Arts degree from Lipscomb University, and now she's very close to getting her bachelor's degree.
She, if what I read from her background is correct, suffered from fetal alcohol syndrome. She grew up in an abusive home where drugs were rampant. She ran away from adoptive parents. She was raped and forced into prostitution by a pimp, as I understand it. What was it about her and about this case that made you say, I need to try to help this woman?
Well, there's an amazing documentary that Dan Bierman did in 2010, and when we saw that documentary, a group of us with lawyers and others got together to say, you know, we need to do our best to see if we can right this wrong.
Yeah, I understand you filed a petition for post-conviction relief after the Supreme Court banned life without parole sentences for juveniles. What are your most pressing obstacles to making a release happen for her right now?
Well, the case will be heard in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals sometime in 2018. Also, we are in the process of asking the Board of Pardons and Paroles and the governor to consider an action that would commute her sentence and allow her to serve a much lighter sentence. Further, we hope that the legislature of Tennessee would take some action that would be of some help to her.
Okay, I want to bring Joey Jackson into the mix here because Joey, I think when a lot of people hear this story, realize that at 16 she was convicted as an adult of first-degree murder, first-degree felony murder, aggravated robbery. People aren't absolved, obviously, by public outcry, but what has to happen in the legal realm to secure her release here?
Well, first of all, good to see you, Christy, and let me compliment Charles Bone for undertaking this case. I think that needs to happen because you want to hold the system accountable. Understand it's an uphill battle, though, right? I mean, the biggest problem is you have a system that needs to balance three things, right? Punishment, deterrence, and rehabilitation. Certainly you want to punish someone, but the issue now is at 16 years old is a sentence where she's up for parole at 69. Is that the appropriate punishment? Furthermore, when you look at a 16-year-old, you have to know that something is fundamentally different about brain development. What any of us do at 21, at 25, at 45, what we would do as a 16-year-old, I think the answer to that question is no. Having said that, and having read Mr. Bone's analysis in his brief here, you know, the question then becomes, when you look and analyze her actions, is a person dead? That person was 43 years old. There's the indication, at least from the prosecution, that he was shot and he was robbed because she took rifles and of course his wallet or his pants away from him. So the question is now, is the punishment appropriate, and based on all errors that were made at the trial level and the appellate level, is even perhaps a new trial in her future? And so that's something that's going to have to be looked at in addition to the remedies what Mr. Bone talked about, and that is whether there would be a commutation of the sentence to make it less, or whether there would be legislative action that would interpose a sentence that would be less than she would have now.
So Joey, when you read through this, what was your initial thought about the conviction and the sentence for it? Because on the outside, we thought, somebody make some sense of this for us.
You know, Christy, in looking at it, the crime obviously is very heinous. And when I looked at that, certainly it deserves punishment. Now, apparently at the trial level, the argument was self-defense. Apparently when she went to this man's home, she was a prostitute being put up to it by her pimp named Cut. Apparently when she went to this man's home, he went to reach under the bed. And as a result of that, she was scared of what he would do, pulled out a pistol from her pocketbook that she was given by her pimp and shot him. And so obviously that was what was argued at trial, but it didn't carry the day. So now you look to whether or not, if she was convicted of this crime, what can happen now? And I know she has all these past histories of, mental abuse and her mental deficiencies and the alcohol that her mother went through. And so the only thing you can hope for is that there would be a commutation of the sentence, or the sentence would be a bit less than it is now.
So Charles, Kim Kardashian even put on her Instagram, "I've called my attorneys yesterday to see what can be done to fix this." How much influence do you think celebrities have in a case like this? Do they enact change, or is it the publicity that's so powerful here?
Well, well, actually, it's both. We welcome all of the support from the celebrities like Kim, and also her legal team. And we look forward to working with all the volunteers who've been a part of this, really around the world, but especially here in Tennessee for many years.